What it do, man? It's James VirGodo, once again, a God level genius, man. Today's video, man, will be an extension of, or in a part two of terms and conditions. Make sure you watch that video, man, so you can understand like the follow up to the video for today. The subject of today's video, man, is you can pick your sins, but you can't pick your consequences. If you find that quote amazing, I can't give you the name of the person that said it. It wasn't me. But let's not go around plagiarizing. You might have heard this before, and if it's your first time hearing it, I won't lie to you and say it's my quote. Gotta pay homage, man, to the writers, the great thinkers, the philosophers, the great speakers that come before me. So with that being said, man, everybody everybody knows someone, man, that's done some things, said some things, and then when the consequences come, they want to play the villain. And this is something you got to start stating to people when they get out of line with you, when they get out of pocket. You got to tell them, like, listen, man, you can pick your sins, but you can't pick your consequences. It's consequences to everything. That's good and bad. You know what I mean? Like, there's a consequence to being honest, being real, and there's a consequence to being fake, being evil. You know, and we are granted free will to make whatever decision we feel is necessary for us at that time in our lives, and we have to deal with the consequences. Sometimes the consequences are minor, then other times they might be a little severe. Sometimes it'll cost you your life, and sometimes, you know, it'll put your life at, you know, at a standpoint where, you know, it's stagnant, you know. But it's all about the decisions that we make, you know what I'm saying, and the sins that we partake in. Um some people are blessed, man, where they do certain things and you like, wow, man, I can't believe you're not dead. You know what I'm saying? I think about one of my homies, man, that passed away recently. When I say recently, it was like last year. We stopped being friends, we stopped communicating. I was hurt behind it. I was real hurt because I always wanted to, you know, when you grow up with someone, you know, you want to see the best outcome for everybody, you know what I'm saying, including yourself. And although I was happy that he progressed in life with his career of choice, you know, making money ain't everything in life, you know what I'm saying? Because you can't take it with you. And then if you ain't got no kids, you ain't got no wife, you know, or nothing like that to pass it down to, then what was you working for? You know? Um, I used to tell him all the time, and I'd be like, yo, bro, you gotta chill out with all the aggressiveness, you know, like he was so violent. He became so violent as we got older, and I noticed in this conversation everything was like aggressive, like for no reason. We was on the interstate one day, and we had went to grab a bite to eat. We on the interstate, and I remember him passing me his AR, and we were listening to some music. Of course, it was like some type of trap music. I don't even remember the artist. I probably wasn't familiar with the artist, but he passed me the AR, and he was like, I ain't gonna let nothing happen to you. I want somebody to try you. I'm like, yo, man, relax. What are you doing? I'm like, first of all, you need to be focused on driving so we don't have a wreck. It only takes 1 second to make a mistake on the road and your life could be over. That's first of all. Then second of all, I'm like, why are you pulling a gun out? The only time a gun is supposed to come out is when it's time for it to be used. That's rule number one. You don't pull out a gun for a fashion statement or for eye candy. The gun is to be used only for what it's used for, to pull the trigger. Like, you don't play with guns. I never understood that. I've never been that type of person. If I pull a gun out, I'm about to shoot. So I get called. We get into a little argument, and he was saying how, you know, I'm lame and all this type of stuff. And I'm just like, look, bro, respectfully, man, like, you really getting out of pocket. You know what I'm saying? Like, you becoming, you're starting to think you're invincible with your attitude. And he was so infatuated with violent movies and violent music. And when he got killed, I wasn't surprised because I saw it coming, man. You know what I mean? And I always thought, like, when he would call me and tell me he got into a fight somewhere or he was in a shootout, I was just like, yo, man, this type of stuff catch up to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't keep going through life every time there's a conflict you want to resort to violence. Um, because, in the Bible, I'm not a Bible scholar, but I know it's somewhere in Proverbs where it talk about like you're supposed to be slow to anger, and things like that. And eventually, man, one of the sins that he gravitated in, it cost him his life. You know what I'm saying? He was always quick to get angry and was always ready to get into like physical fights and even gun violence, you know what I mean? And it cost him his life. And this is an example of you can pick your sins, but you can't pick your consequences, because people, when when certain things happen, first thing somebody say, hey, they ain't have to do them like that. They ain't have to shoot them that many times. Well, you don't shoot nobody and decide when it's their turn how many times they get to shoot you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't get to decide that. Another example of this, man, is I've been having like some turmoil with certain relatives or whatever, and the narrative is I'm holding a grudge or I'm being bitter about something, but nobody talks about the years of disrespect that I've tolerated, you know? So what I choose to do is I choose to be silent, because it's nothing like seeing someone walk around with guilt on their face, and they and they want to play stupid when they see you and act like everything all good when they know what they done said, they know what they done did. The way I went about it was I said, I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm not gonna have nothing to deal with you. I'm not gonna talk to you. I'm not finna. We don't have to reconcile, because the problem isn't me. The problem is yourself. There's something wrong with you, and you're choosing to exalt your energy on me, and you think I'm gonna tolerate it. That's not how it's gonna happen. Not on God's green earth. Not as long as James VirGodo has breath in his body. We're not doing that. So I'm not gonna say nothing. Now I could have took it to another level. I could have went back and forth, but they say, the more you stir shit, it's only gonna stink worse, and you keep playing with a fire, is only gonna keep, escalating. So I don't say nothing. But that's how I chose for your consequences to be silence. Because, the loudest noise is when you don't hear nothing and you just sitting there and you ain't got nobody that can occupy, that those seconds that you try to waste to not deal with what you got to deal with. Everything has consequences, man, myself included. You know what I mean? Like, I done dealt with some consequences of some things, and I'm like, wow, I ain't think I deserved all that, but I shouldn't have said something to trigger that person, or I shouldn't have did what I did and thought I was gonna get away with it. I could go on and on. There's various stories, that can exemplify why that statement is so true. So the next time you think about doing something to get even with somebody, or you think you're finna be slick and get over on somebody, keep that in the back of your mind, man, that you can pick your sins, but you can't pick your consequences. And it ain't always gonna be even. It ain't gonna always be fair in your mind. Like, oh, I don't think I deserve that. I might have to do a part 2 to give you more examples of why it's so important to be wary of the decisions you make, because everything comes down to our decisions and the choices that we make. And every choice, has a domino effect. And sometimes it ain't gonna affect you; it's gonna affect somebody that you love, somebody closer to you, because God sees all, the Creator sees all, and He has the final judgment of everything. Which is why they say you can pick your sins, but you can't pick your consequences. You reap what you sow. If you made this part to the video, man, I want to say thank you for watching, man. Please do me a favor, man. Subscribe to the God Level Genius YouTube channel. Hit the notification bell. Hope y'all having a great day, having a great week, have a great month. Be God level. The genius is in you. I am James VirGodo.